Are you talking to us, Vicky? Okay, good. All right. Well, while she's getting everyone loaded up, I'm going to double check a few things. So we've been very busy, like you, with the things that we're working on, and this week and last week we've started dealing with the practice pitches and the update. First of all, Vicky, do you have anything you need to do first?
No, other than hopefully everyone got the email last night with an update on the hotels, practice pitches. Deadline for the documents is Monday, March 10th for all of them to be in their final form. And then also if we've got some, we still need some YouTube video shorts sent to us so we can get those to the Tech Scouts. So if you haven't done them, we need those ASAP, like today, right away. So there's a few of those still out there.
Yeah, I got to tell you, the Tech Scouts, although we have a relationship with them, they're it's a one-way priority. When they call me, no matter who I'm talking to, I pause what I'm doing and I take their call. It does not work the same way in reverse. I don't call them and they stop what they're doing and take my call. They'll get back to me. It's a good thing that they do, but we don't have the same priority that they do. And so my point to you is when we send your YouTube video links in a spreadsheet to them, it may take us reminding them more than once that this is what you asked for. So think of us like a bridge. We're not really a toll bridge, but we're a bridge that engages both sides. And so there are times that we have to try to stress to them that we are making a week of their time very productive because of you. Well, now that they're engaging those YouTube shorts and giving us feedback, you're basically getting two conferences in one because they're giving us feedback that we've only had whenever you pitch to them in person. That feedback comes to us, then we in turn give it to your tech coaches and you for you to utilize. If nothing else happened, you would already have what we've had in the last 8 years. There's a few, one or two at least here, that have been through that process and understand that feedback and realize the value of it, or at least the similarity of it. So we need all of you, and I don't know if we have anyone on that hasn't done the YouTube short. If it's some of you that are SBDC folks, if you know some that haven't in your group, please get them to us, because if you wait too long, you're going to lose out and we're going to have to close the door because we're not going to be able to get them to review them. And I can tell you right now, based on the feedback we're getting, we're not letting anyone go through without the review of the Tech Scouts. That day's over. This is so much better than what it's been in the past. And so I want you to know that we need you to work with us in order for us to help you. That's hopefully the only spanking, if he felt spanked, that we'll do today. We're working, we're getting a lot of good feedback, and we're working to improve our process besides what you see and some things that are happening. And what I'm reminded of by some of the people in our ecosystem that have noticed encountering innovation and have participated, they tell us that we're the only program they know that actually is doing the depth of work with the clients that's making that much of a difference. That only happens if you guys do your part. So trust us, please, when we try to help you to get you ready. We are. What did I tell you, Vicky? You're going to have to take the. I'll be back.
Okay, I'm sorry. Uh, oh heavens, it's been it's crazy. But anyways, yeah, it really is important for us to get those so that we can get them to the tech scouts and then the feedback back to you all. We currently have a batch that of the YouTube shorts that the tech scouts are reviewing now, and we hopefully will have their feedback for that group by tomorrow. It may be Monday, but as soon as we do, we'll get that info. We'll get all of that info to you guys as soon as we have it and can share so that you know. I know that today Alan was. Does anyone have any questions on those YouTube shorts? And I'll try to answer them.
Vicky, this is Al Perez. I'm on the naughty list, unfortunately. I did complete my script last night, and so probably by 3 o'clock p.m. today, I'll have that over to you. But it seems fairly straightforward. Luckily, I got a group of younger guys that, know their way around YouTube and cell phones, and so if I run into any snags, my guys will sigh and say, "Gosh, how come you don't know how to use this technology yet?" But I'll have I'll have mine into you by today.
Perfect. Thank you
Sorry
very
for the
much.
delay.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So yeah, those are going to be really important because the tech scouts are reviewing those and will make the decision or help us make the decision and who's going to pitch at the event, who's going to be selected to pitch at the event and who won't be. So that's one of the reasons for the criticality of it. I think that's probably enough of it. I know Alan today was going to talk about the pitch deck and using and the feedback that you get from the tech scouts and kind of how to bring that information into it. So we'll go on with that. Does anyone have any questions in general? Maybe we'll do about the event and the email that I sent out last night. Wow, a quiet group today.
So, Vicky, this is Vi from Ultrazeal Life Sciences. If I may, I just have a question on my end, and I apologize, I was a bit late, so I didn't want to interject because you may have sort of covered it already. But, I'm just trying to think about, so if we get selected, then we get a chance to pitch, right, at this event where you'll have scouts and folks from all these different areas in the DoD. That's my understanding of it. But I just wanted to sort of project out in terms of, what does that mean, right? So let's say if they like our technology, we come in and we have an opportunity to present, where do things go from there for the companies who do present, is the what do the scouts eventually, if they select you, make happen, right, for these technologies?
Well, what I can tell you is this year is completely we've been pivoting the whole design and approach of the conference this year. In the past, we've had pitches in a wide range of technology readiness levels, and those companies that pitched have all gotten feedback, suggestions, recommendations on, and maybe contacts that they can reach out to with their technologies. So this year we pivoted, and the Tech Scouts have requested that we only have pitching technologies that are at a higher level TRL. Primarily their preference is 7 to 9, and that they are business ready. So that's where we brought the YouTube video shorts into play. We've asked you all to prepare those. We send them to the Tech Scouts, and they will review them. And they're going to tell us whether that technology is DoD relevant to the needs that they are looking for, and then ensure that it's at the appropriate technology readiness level. So you're getting feedback, like Alan said just a few minutes ago, you're getting feedback now prior to that event that you normally wouldn't have gotten in the past until after you had pitched. So we're hoping that out of this, they've already seen your YouTube short. They've said, yes, that's a technology we're interested in, and you'll have better referrals after they've met with you. I think the other thing that's going to be beneficial is that on Thursday at the event, which is this particular day is going to be at Johnson County Community College. And it's the Defense Innovation Unit Forum, and they will be bringing in representatives from the DIU as well that will be at that event, and you'll be able to do networking and meet with them. And this, so much of this is about the networking and meeting the people that may have contacts for you.
Right. No,
Head coaches, if any of you all that have been through the process, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, this is Al Perez. What we were able to accomplish at one of the Tech Scout presentations is a direct line to the United States Air Force personnel who are critical for signing the AFWERX Memorandum of Understanding. For those of you who have done SBIR for AFWERX, I've been fortunate to have done 2 already. You must have identified that active Air Force customer, 2 of them, and you have to get 2 signatures. And they were very helpful in getting us connected with those 2 individuals that we needed for that memorandum that must be signed to move forward. You cannot submit a proposal package, phase 1 or phase 2, without that signed customer memorandum. So you can go to this presentation for trying to achieve something like that or similar to that. Over.
got it.
Chip, Barbara, I know you all have been through it a few times. Do you have anything to add?
I've had
Go ahead,
several
Laurie.
clients
Oh,
be invited to events where they were able to demonstrate and get to further subject matter experts or end users. That's a really good experience and open up just a better understanding of where they need to go to make those relationships and where to network.
Vicki, could I add one more thing?
Please.
My company has been selected also for the Navy STP. It's similar to the Kansas Encountering Innovation presentation. We will be presenting at Sea Air Space a few months after the Kansas event. But everything that we develop for presentation to the Tech Scouts, we simply change the format and then present it at Sea Air Space for the Navy STP program. And so what we have found is we do a really good job, make great presentation pieces, and you'll find that you can use these at other venues, your quad chart, your pitch, your presentation deck. These are all very similar things that are required at these other DoD events like Sea Airspace or West. Over.
Thank you, Al. Okay, Alan,
So
you're muted. There you
I,
are.
I see Jessica's hand is up.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Jessica.
No worries, no worries, nothing urgent. Just my team obviously would like to come too. Is there anything that we need to do to make you aware how many are coming or?
I'll be sending out an email. I know that for like the Defense Innovation Forum on Thursday, they're going to be asking everyone who's going to attend to register for that. I don't have that link yet. So as soon as I get that, you'll have that. And then I'll also be asking you all to tell me exactly who's coming to the event. We'll be sitting in on the pitch and that, and then so that we can make arrangements and know that we have the right people sitting in on those pitches. So I'll be sending an email out later for you to tell me who will be in attendance with you.
Is that good? There you
Yes,
go.
perfect. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Vi,
So-
did that answer your question? Did that
yes,
help?
I know we jumped to the next one, but I just wanted to say thank you all very much for sharing that. You know, we do have a technology which is already commercially in the marketplace, you know, and have been listed on the DAPA and FSS contracts now as well. And, you know, like Al, we've been funded with DHA SBIRs. You know, we also have CDMRP and MTech and MIDRIP funding. So, you know, I was just trying to understand because, of course, you know, we've been through, I think we've had a fair bit of success on the research side, and where we are is really trying to now get to the procurement side of the house. So I was just trying to gauge, you know, is this more for earlier stage technologies? They're looking for sort of research pathways, or, you know, can we get access to end users and, you know, people who would really utilize the technology and give feedback? So I think, you know, both Barbara and Al's inputs were very helpful, because it seems like in both cases you actually met with customers, which is what we really need right now. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
Alan, do you have anything you want to add to
I
what
don't, I'm not sure I followed the question. So
she
I'm
was
not-
really asking initially, what could she expect as kind of results of participating in the event, in the pitches and that at EI?
Okay.
And I talked
And-
to them about the pivot that we've made this year using, and the Tech Scouts looking for the higher TRL and that. So
Okay. So I think based on what you've heard, we are in a process of change, of innovation. The entire system is trying to improve results. Part of the problem or the challenge is trying to understand how you count, measure, or spell success. And I was just on in a meeting that went almost twice as long. And I said, one of the things that DoD ecosystem people tend to not count is they tend to measure success by the contract directly with someone, with an entity inside DoD. That is not how we count success, and it's probably because of our SBDC roots. But every one of the SBDC people that are working with you count success for you by the very metrics that they measure. And that is a business startup, capital infusion, and increase in revenue. With increase in revenue, they're working to look at your cash flow to see that you're profitable. So they're working to try to make sure that you understand increase in revenue does not necessarily spell success, right? But it is a measurement that will eventually, if you're doing it right, get you to a profit. We are working to, that's why our matchmaking program is there, because it's the first score, the first positive feedback we get. So my first thing that I would encourage you to do is make sure that you pay attention to the capability matrix that I don't think Rick is on today, but Rick is the one who innovated that or brought it to us. That one tool does a great job of giving all of you the ability to review each other and be able to choose who you would like to meet with in a way that you don't end up with a accidental meeting, that instead it's intentional. You don't have to be really good at networking in order to make that happen. Instead, we set aside rooms. We'll do it virtually. We've done enough of these virtually that if it ends up not being in that week, that it can still happen for you. So in those cases, you'll still get to meet with people. For instance, I don't know, Vicki, if you told, we've got Abby Boggs. She has agreed to work with us. She's actually going to participate in 2 days of tech scouting. She won't be on Fridays in the Friday pitches, but she will be in Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But she's offering up herself for matchmaking. So we're going to be giving information out to you where you can schedule a time to meet with her virtually to talk about, in her case, IP. She's with Army, but she's been she started in the Air Force, then Navy, and now Army. So she knows a lot of people across all three of those. And so as you're meeting with her, she's going to be able to hopefully answer questions for you, more of what you would go through in a contracting type of situation and how your IP should be covered. So she brings a lot of light to this. We're going to have her talk to us March
11th at 2:30.
So I would definitely encourage you to make sure to be there where you can hear her talk a little bit about what she's going to be doing to give you a little bit of feedback there. The second part then, and Jerry, I know you had your hand up, so we'll reach out to you in just a second. I just want to make sure we wrap up the question. The second part then is your meeting with the tech scouts. The tech scouts are trying to get closer to moving their end customer closer to the small business innovator. And how they're doing that is asking us to do all this extra work ahead of time by bringing in late stage business ready, as they called it, heavy hitters. So they want people that are close to being able to act upon the innovation and the capability need to bridge that gap. That's what you're here for. So to do that, you're going to have to do well with your pitch. The second part you're going to need to do is what I wanted to talk to everyone about today, and that is focusing on the feedback you've already received. If you've turned in your YouTube short and you've gotten that feedback, that's what Tim Fowler was calling about, was the next 10 to get the feedback for those back to you. What we need you to do is acknowledge what they've given you and study it and do your best to be able to speak to it. I guess before I flip over to what I want to present, what I want to do is ask Jerry, you had your hand up. What's your question in case it's a part of this? If it's not, hopefully we can answer it, and then I'll move over to the other information.
Yeah, thank you, Alan. So my question will be, since we've been talking about Tech Scouts and then video, my question will be, after we submit our shorts and video, when should we get expected to receive the feedbacks and get viewed by the Tech Scouts? So that's kind of my question.
Okay, well, hopefully the answer is by tomorrow for the group that's been in. That's what Tim was reaching out to me about. So he's reaching out to the others and they've agreed to get it to us. So we should have that by tomorrow. Then we'll turn around and get it to you guys.
And Jerry, yours is in that group.
Thank you.
Like I said, and Tim laughed when I told him what I just said to you guys. I said, it's one of those things where I take his call when he calls. And I've done it in front of my new boss when I first started at Pitt State. I've done it in front of the group with him. I make no qualms about it. If he calls, I'm going to do my best to take the call if I can. I think because we do that, we have a pretty good chance that we can work with them. But I understand that they don't take my call the same way, which also is why we try to tell you, we try to put stuff to them in a batch at a time, because I sent out a high priority email today reminding them, you asked for this. And so I got their attention, but I don't overdo that. I don't try to bug them I don't play that game. We try not to do that with you either, right? Okay, so with that in mind, what I wanted to show you, give me just a second, make sure I can get it up here. Okay. All right, so I'm giving you an example of what your results might look like, where you get 4 scores of whether it's a DoD relevance or not, and then scoring of the possibility from as low as a 1 to a high of 10, to where this information then and then their feedback is given to you for you to turn around and give them information in return. What I want you to understand as much as anything is look for the highest score. As we're giving you the Tech Scout priority, Vicki, are you giving them those 3?
No, I had just given them the comment, the feedback.
Okay. All right.
I can go back and I'll go back and get those 2 pieces of information for those that have already been received feedback. I'll get that to you, and then I'll just continue to add that.
Yeah, so the most important one will be the priority. If they don't have a relevance, we've had some that had 0, basically saying it's not relevant to our combat, to us as a DoD. It's relevant before us or after us, but not in the arena of the war fighter. So they tell us 0. So if you've gotten a positive feedback, then you're getting a 1 there. So it's really the scores on the combatant command. Why we're trying to tell you this and give you this information is realizing that this is golden information for you. When you see the highest score, what we want you to do is look at that and try to deep dive, because as I was talking to the person this morning, he kept saying DoD, and he said, tell me what I need to do. And I said, you've got to strike the term DoD from your vocabulary. You cannot use that word. And he was like, and later on he started to say it, and he said, I know Alan's telling me not to use that word. And I said, you can't. I said, because that's like us saying the government. Well, the government ought to do this. The government ought to do that. Tell me, have you ever met the government? There is no such thing. You got local, you got city council, you know what I'm saying. Well, the same thing with DoD. So what we're trying to help you do is break down the combatant commands to the highest priorities. Those that are scoring you and saying this innovation has a higher priority for me. Choose at least one of those to try to deep dive. So we want you to take their feedback, and it's the theory of reciprocity. They are taking the time to review your video and give recommendations. If they're doing that, they're only doing that because we have a history of proving that we don't waste their time. Well, then what you're going to do is go back and deep dive their feedback and make sure that it is a part of your pitch, that it is a part of your presentation. By doing that, what will they hear? They will hear the fact that you actually looked at what they recommended and you're acting upon that. It's one of the coolest things to do in a conversation is listen to someone and actually hear what they said and turn around and respond to that, not rebut it, but to respond. Collaboration is this. It's not this. It's not, I hear what you're saying, but, okay? So that's what we're trying to do with your pitch practice that we've seen so far. We realize this is a big, big deal. And I almost missed it. As much as I thought, assuming you're seeing it, I realized we're not talking about it. I didn't hear in the ones I've listened to, I'm not hearing that. No matter what you do, even if everything you saw, you're doing anyway, by responding to it, you tell them, I heard what you said, and here's what we found. I don't care how you say that, whatever your best comfort level is, that's fine. But keep in mind that whatever they've given you, recommendations, that it's a part of your pitch, it's a part of your presentation. By doing that, then the theory of reciprocity should kick in. Okay? So that's something that I'm telling you that this group has never heard before because we never had this feedback ahead of time. Right, Barbara? So are you about to unmute?
No, I think it's very helpful to have this in advance, and it helps the conversation go deeper than what it has in the past because of that.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that you're responding or reaching out and understanding what they're talking about as the bridge. I'm hoping it sparks pressure to produce on the other side. Back to the question earlier about what can we expect from the conference. We want the DoD Tech Scouts to do a better job of assisting you as much as we want you to do a better job at preparing to speak to them. And what we realize is success cannot only be measured by a contract by some agency inside the DoD. If that's the only way we measure it, then there's things that we're doing that we're wasting your time and ours on. We don't want to do that because that's not how you consider success. Success is what you're selling, what you're producing, what you're getting benefit from, right? So we try to recognize all those different ways and help ensure that through the matchmaking, through the Tech Scouts, through their referrals. We saw that in the first year with Brett Sheringhausen, whenever he did referrals, and then when he asked someone, did you speak to so-and-so? No, I emailed them once, but they never got back to me. And he's like, you emailed them once? Wow, that showed how important they were. I mean, so it's a matter of trying to be persistent without being a pest, right? So there's some finesse. We can talk about that later as far as how to get that done. Understand that DIU, which is where we're being paid as a part of the support for what we're doing to work with you, their job is to help innovation become commercialized with the DoD. They're not the decision maker, and the Tech Scouts are not necessarily the decision maker, but the Tech Scouts know the gaps, and they're trying to solve that. What we're trying to do is put those different pieces together for you. All right. So if you have not already booked or planned your pitch practice, please make sure you do that. You really need to practice, especially with the stuff that's coming on now, because the more all of you practice, the thing that we keep hearing is the consistency. Today they were bragging on EI, and they were saying things about you or your predecessors that was working. And they said the quality of the presentations that come out of EI are better than any program we know of. And I thought, wow, that's a testimony to the tech innovation and the small businesses, and trusting on us enough that we do not understand or we do not know your technology. Bill might. That's what his job is for, to better understand that. But our job is to help you speak in a way that they'll listen to you, and consistently in a way that they will not feel like they're being tested. There's nothing worse than reading a story and not knowing what the objective of the storyline is. I don't know where they're going with this. I don't know what the mystery is. By presenting in a certain process that we share with you that they've asked us to do, then you tell them information in a way that they're used to. They take the notes, they understand, then they're able to know what they're looking for and what they're listening for, to where then they can speak with you. Because we try to tell you in that pitch, the magic is when they start speaking back to you, when they start engaging you. That's the collaboration. The sooner you can get to collaboration phase, the better off you are. You do not want to speak for obviously not 20 minutes, but 10, 15 minutes, because I have so much to tell them. If I don't tell them, then they won't understand. That's a mistake. You got to get them into the collaboration phase. And I see Bill's hand up. Yes, sir, Bill.
I was just going to mention that out of all the things that we do in Encountering Innovation and all these webinars and training events and feedback, one of the biggest things that comes back time and time again is how helpful the practice pitches were. A lot of people tell us that out of everything we do, that was the most important, because you get to do a trial run and then you get some feedback from some pretend tech scouts that can give you a feel for what the real meeting is going to be like. Some of the actual questions. We've heard enough of these that we can actually sometimes tell you almost word for word what question is going to come up first off the bat. But not always, but so you get a chance to practice it and go, okay, I didn't like that transition. This slide was awkward. I really like that graphic. And you can redo so that when you go in for the real thing, you're not doing your first pass. And it's different practicing it yourself or practicing in front of other people.
Yeah. I guess I'm going to give you a little bit of a short story that I hope you get the meaning for it. Our second year, we were trying to do quarterly feedback engagements with the Tech Scouts. And I met someone out of Kansas City plant, as they called it, Honeywell for DOE. They were going to come down and meet with us, or they had engaged to work with us. And I invited them to come down and speak at this quarterly event, because I was so excited about what they were saying and how they could hopefully help our innovators. And I said, would you come down? I said, that's going to be this Tuesday and Wednesday, this time period in the weeks to come. And they very quickly said, no, that's not my job. And I was like, and then I thought, after I got off the phone, I thought, what a blessing. Had that person told me, I'll see what I can do, I would have penciled them in, and then I would have started counting and planning on them. And then about a week or two ahead of time, all they would have done is sent me an email and said, you know, Alan, I'm not going to be able to make it. I would have felt a lot better, but it would not have done me any good. They did me a service by telling me straight up, no, that's not what I do. I can't do that. I don't get supported to do that. So as we go forward in the pitch, your job is to get what you want more than anything, even if you don't think you do, is not to be stroked, and I feel good about this. You need very specific information that will help you move forward, whichever way that is. And that's our job, is to try to help the Tech Scouts get closer to that. The way they do that is by your better pitch, your better engagement. All right. I think I've covered with all the stuff you guys have talked about. Hopefully, we got a lot of stuff going on in the background that's happening on your behalf, and I'm excited about it. There's stuff that I can't tell you because I don't know the results of it, but stuff that we're working on that hopefully will be some of the tools that will help you. We, as the bridge, we keep talking about both sides. We keep looking for people that understand the process better, that can come back and engage the ecosystem. And I just invited Tim on that as something we've discovered. And he said, yeah, he said, send that to me and I'll read it. So we're trying to help them help you as well. Anyway, I think that, Vicki, have we covered everything?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. What questions do you have for us?
Alan, Al Perez here.
Yes.
I have more of a comment than a question, but I want to share it with the group. And it pertains to the matchmaking. One of the conferences I attended, I met with 3 other companies like mine, and 2 of those turned into collaboration for SBIR proposals. And so it was kind of unexpected, but as we started talking and sharing some of the capabilities of each small business, right away we could see where we both had something to offer, and as a 2-company approach, could write and submit a competitive proposal. So I just want to make that comment that also the matchmaking has bared fruit for me in unexpected ways.
Thank you, Al. It still becomes, it's our highest score. That's what we get scored on more than anything else. It's the first score that we get back. So yeah, very much encourage all of you that you're looking at each other. Someone's going to succeed, and that's a statistical average. People are going to succeed with their innovation out of this conference. If you tie yourself only to your own innovation, the chances of your success are narrower. And I'm not saying connect to everybody. You don't want to spread yourself so thin that you can't get anything done. But try to be aware, be open-minded, like what Al's mentioning, to what ways can you succeed? We keep telling you, I've mentioned it before, Brett has told us that he had as many as 17 innovations from something like this that they put together, and that became one success in that regard. Yes, sir, Bill.
Yeah, I was just going to say I almost hesitate to share this because it sounds negative at first, but we had someone that came to the Encountering Innovation Conference a number of years ago, and he was very upset about 2 weeks after. And he said, that was a waste of my time. I got nothing out of it, and he was really grilling us. And I felt really bad because we'd poured a lot of time into him. But I said, give it some time. This is not something that just happens quickly. And about, probably 2 or 3 months later, he called me back and he said, I retract my last phone call. He said, I didn't get a whole lot of the actual conference. What I did get was I met someone who introduced me to a group in Minnesota that could build my prototypes for me, and it was huge. It was huge. So, it's kind of like, think of kind of the illustration of going to church. And, what is God going to use to speak to you? It could be a song, it could be the sermon, it could be an encouraging word from somebody, it could be something in Sunday school. Look for it. And not just one area, look for whatever it may be, and throw yourself out there and be listening and have your ears open. And you may be surprised at where the biggest value actually comes from. It probably isn't exactly what you think. It might not even be the Tech Scout that you think. You think, wow, this Tech Scout's going to be all over this. And you find somebody else says, man, I got an application for that you probably never even thought of, but I'm dealing with. So just be open and get yourself out there.
Some of you don't know this about me. Some of you do. I can't speak for the others, but I get very emotional as we get closer to the conference because we actually very much care about you. And the person I was talking with a while ago was talking about mixed signals or false demand signal, I think is what the way he put it. And he said, and how it can be misinterpreted. And not everybody you're going to meet cares deeply for the small business person. So you need to have some discernment. You need to be trying to pay attention and be wise. Your filter needs to try to be accurate, right? You don't need to paint everything rosy or paint everything negatively. So hopefully we'll help you with that. But please remember our highest priority for you, I've said it before, we may not help you, but we will not hurt you. That is our highest priority. And I mean that very sincerely. We want to try to get you best prepared and then move you forward. We don't know what your success looks like in the future. We just know that you've got a better chance of getting sharper and better in order to engage that success. It's coming. Part of it is you're going to have to be patient, right? But anyway, I hope that it goes back to answering your question that you had. And yeah, I'm looking at you. She's like, where am I? So we've gotten a lot of stuff done. We're not good. I could tell Chip, he knows that we're not good at conference hotels and some other stuff. That's not our strength, right? And we still don't have a contract. So we're still working without a contract, which means every one of those that are working with us as contractors, subcontractors working with us, don't have a contract. I trust we will. And so hopefully we'll be able to, we'll continue this. Anyway, that part's not really important to you other than it does have some ramifications in the deals or things that we do. Just continue to get prepared, get your documents ready, get people to review your information. You've got a short period of time where all the eyes are going to be on you and your documents. And you need to be best prepared for that, to where your information can turn into collaboration. If you get that done, then you've succeeded with these Tech Scouts, and they will do their best to engage you and give you good information and hopefully move you forward. All right, I think we've gotten everything done we were wanting to do today. Any other questions or comments from anyone? See, look, we're ahead of schedule.
One last comment from me. When we get to the conference, we're going to be super busy, but please come up and talk to us. It's a whole lot more fun meeting you in person than sitting here on this call. And especially during any of the networking times, come and talk to us. That's where we really get to know you, and we really do care about you and your technology. And I know what during the actual pitches, it's pretty hectic day, but I know for me, I tend to be the mop-up tech coach for those that don't have a tech coach, and I'll run into the red room. So I'm running back and forth all the time. But it's really fun to get to meet you in person and to hear your passion for your technologies. So please do that.
To Al's point while ago about timing, I want to reiterate that we continue to work with or for you. In the meeting we had a while ago, the example they gave of something they're working on right now brought up 2 clients from 23. And so I will be reaching out. Barbara, I think, knows one of them, but we're going to be reaching out to those because that's part of what we're trying to get to, is to where all of you fall into a database that's easily accessible. Your bluff is part of that, your keywords, and we're still not where we want to be. We're still innovating what we do and trying to get support for that. But we're working towards that. That's why your public information, we work hard to try to get your stuff that's public, that we can offer out there where people can see it, where they can engage it. So that's just a last minute example of something that came up today that's basically 2 years old information that they're reaching out to and that they want to see.
Yeah, and there are times when we get calls even from the tech scouts when they say, hey, I'm on a short time leash, I'm looking for this kind of thing. Go through your database and see who you have and send us what you have. And so we try and put tech scouts or others in touch with you even at those late dates. So this is not a one and done. You're done with the conference and hey, thank you very much for coming, goodbye. We try and keep a relationship going.
Okay. Good to see everyone. It's a big crowd today.
Alan, I just quickly, I know, I think we've been exchanging emails. I had a couple of questions, but they're not relevant to the whole group. If you had just, 2-3 minutes.
Sure. Yeah, we'll be glad to stay.
Okay, thank you.
Everyone be safe.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you
Thanks,
for
everyone.
coming.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you, Chip.
Uh-huh.
Bye, thank you.
See you later.